Welcome back to the Richard Sherman podcast. I got two of my favorite guys on here, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Andrew Whitworth, my co-workers now. Appreciate y'all joining me.
You finally invited us on the podcast, Sherman.
We've been waiting
so excited to be here.
We're happy to be here, guys. Baby.
I'm grateful and thankful. I know you guys have a busy schedule, especially you, Fitz, on every commercial in America. You're America's favorite child right now.
The Hayes in the Barn, I've already done all those, so I'm not busy with those anymore. So, except for the one we did together.
What? Don't me. We're not supposed to.
Are we going to
just there? I'm going to tease it. I won't even say what it's for, but we did do one together recently.
See how he couldn't just go fall on the sword by himself? He had to pull me in.
He did.
Well, you guys are obviously we're a year out of football and in a new space. How are you enjoying the analyst space, and what's your favorite part? And yes, I'm fishing for compliments here.
Wait, why don't you take that one?
Yeah. You know what? It's been unbelievable. I think we've shared with each other over the weeks. I think for me, I never really thought I would have this much fun doing this. I mean, obviously the crew matters and the people you do something with. We've been able to find a good groove going on the road and spending some quality time together, and then also getting a chance to talk about a game that's changed all of our lives. That's for sure. And so that to me, that's the most fun. I get to talk about something that's made a massive difference in my life, and then I get to do it with a bunch of great people. And we find a little way to have some extracurricular fun at times on the road. I don't know if I sleep much. That's probably the biggest shock, is that I did not realize that zero sleep was included in this job.
Yeah, it's a lot of preparation. It's a lot of bonding.
A lot of prep time. And for some reason, I always have to leave a couple days early. I hadn't figured that out yet. But Melissa, she gets it. I always have to leave earlier than I thought.
I will say for all of us, though, like the leaving the team aspect of it, football, and everybody says, oh, I missed the locker room, whatever. Like we kind of have recreated it with this and doing the traveling circus when we go on the road. And I think that's the one thing when we all jumped into this thing kind of not knowing, but that's the one thing I think I'm most grateful for, is to still have that, to still have the camaraderie, the back and forth. That part of it is really fun for me.
Yeah, except when you leave your teammates and we give you a hard time like you did last week. I mean,
guys, the 2-minute warning happened. Like we got to go on air, guys.
Okay.
You can't just sit in and eat all the M&Ms and whatever else you eat, shrimp cocktail in the green room.
No, but it happened twice, because you did it before the game when you went into the green room and we were still off the desk. And normally you wait for us and we walk off the field together. Sherman and I like to be escorted. Okay. We don't want to have to catch up to you. All right. We want you to walk with us.
I was with Jason Kelsey, who was new, and I was trying to show him the ropes of where to go.
Okay. And showing him the ropes would be stand right here and wait on Sherman Witt. That would be showing the ropes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to admit my mistake and say, sorry, guys.
You're such a big man, Fitz. And that's what we're talking about with the maturity. It's the beard. I don't know if it's the beard or it's just he's a father of 7. The maturity level there is outstanding.
That was great.
Yeah. I learned with my wife just to give up on the arguments and just completely cave in. That's the fastest way to stop talking about it. So
That's fair. So since you've stopped playing, what are some things that you guys have more time for that you didn't have time for when you were playing?
So one of the things that I get a chance to do is coach basketball, and not just coach, but dive in. I mean, we're talking, I'm watching game film, I'm watching practice. It doesn't matter that it's 2nd and 4th grade basketball. I mean, this is serious. I replace a lot of my football film work in the off season with being able to watch these kids. And even if they can't dribble, we're going to review the tape. We're going to make sure they know what they're doing wrong, and we're going to try to get better every week.
That's excellent. That's excellent habits.
Same thing. I mean, I think it's coaching the kids' sports. It's been a lot of fun. It's intense still. I didn't think I would get into it, but I'm into it. I thought I was going to be I'm going to play it cool every week. Not really going to get into it, but it is locked in. I mean, you guys have seen me messing around, watching tape sometimes on these youth football games, getting prepared for the next week. But that part's been a lot of fun. You got to take it serious, got to lock it in. But we had our end of the year party yesterday. I shared with you guys, we got torched in our last game in the playoffs. And one of the dads was like, hey, what do you make of the season? Could you kind of break it down for me? And I was like, I don't know. I mean, it's 11-year-olds playing football. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't have any like final words per se.
He wanted an exit
our
meeting.
season.
Give him his exit meeting.
There is so much to be thankful for. Family, friends, food, and NFL football all week long. DraftKings Sportsbook is keeping your Thanksgiving week full of action. New customers can bet just $5 on NFL action to score $150 in bonus bets instantly. No matter your appetite, there's something for you. Money lines, parlays, props, live bets, and so much more. You name it, they got it. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code Richard. New customers can bet $5 on the NFL Thanksgiving action to score $150 in bonus bets instantly. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, with code Richard. The crown is yours.
I'm curious, so like with you, Sherm, even for my boys, like I almost shy away from football. Not them playing, they play, but like I almost shy away from coaching them in football. And like then I can dive into some of the other sports. Basketball was my favorite sport, like in high school and growing up. It just didn't happen to be the one I was best at. But what do you coach your son in football? And do you feel weird about it or no?
I feel weird about it, and I try to stay as uninvolved as I can until he asks. Or they get in a sticky situation in the playoffs of the third and fourth grade division of the flag football league. And then the coach is like, man, can you help us? We're down by 14 at the half. And then I get involved and we start running blitzes and complicated stuff. And we come back and run the score up and we score points. And then I back off once my son and his team are.
You say, let me show you this Seattle 3 that I've run for a while.
Have you guys cover 3? Have you guys cover 3? That's just but it's fun. It's fun to see the kids happy. You know, I usually coach basketball and track team, you know, that's my baby. But it's all the same kids. So when the football season comes around and they're looking at you puppy-eyed, you know, down by 14 at the half, and you know you can give them answers to win the game, you're like, hey, well.
You got to, baby.
I mean, this is what we're going to do.
I think one of the coolest things, too, about coaching your kids is you really get to know the kids they're hanging out with. Like that, to me, and it turns into Friday night basketball practice at the house and, you know, families coming over and hanging out. And you just, it's so hard getting pulled in different directions with all the stuff that we do on the road and everything else to kind of hit pause and to be able to like see them and learn who their friends are and be a part of it is a neat part of it.
No, it really is. I mean, I think that's the part to me that's most educational is who my kids hanging out with, and also getting to learn the personalities. You know, everybody, when you compete, there's a certain personality you have in those moments. So I think your kids kind of see who the kids are that you're like, ooh, you should be around this kid a lot. Like he's wired right. You're going to learn a lot from being around him. I think that's a huge part. I'm the coach, though, that like I ignore that Michael exists. My son, my 11-year-old on my football team. So I coach the team. I don't even speak to him. You know, we don't talk to each other until we get in the car. So it's like in the car, he's like, hey, Dad, what'd you think of my practice? That's the first time he'll hear from me the entire day.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But speaking of like family, you know, we got Thanksgiving coming up, and I got to play on Thanksgiving. It wasn't, actually, it was a fun game. And I got to eat turkey on a football field of my greatest rival at the time. But you guys can have any fond memories of playing on Thanksgiving? I know you played in Thanksgiving in 2010. Fitz, I don't know if you played on Thanksgiving.
I never played and never had the pleasure of playing on Thanksgiving, but I do. My birthday is November 24th. So like it's always falls on Thanksgiving every now and again. So I was always happy to not have a Thanksgiving game to be able to spend it with the fam. But how is it, Whit? Do you enjoy gobbling?
All I remember is we got beat. It was not fun. It was not a fun game. Let's just put it that way. Nothing like Thanksgiving on the road and just getting torched in a football game. So wasn't much fun.
Yeah, we had it on that Thursday. We beat the brakes off of San Francisco that day. I had 2 picks, player of the game.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know, I mean, every now and then, you know what I mean? Kaepernick would feed me and help feed my family. You know, I got a few birthday and Christmas cards for him and his family whenever they need. The Fitzpatrick family is always good in my book as well.
Yes. Hey, I always tried to feed the family for you. No problem, Sherman.
I appreciate that. You were not stingy about that. But we got the Black Friday game this year. We got the Jets versus the Dolphins, and Deep breath for Zach Wilson.
Deep breath, baby. Deep breath. Woosah.
What advice would you have for Zach Wilson, Fitz? Please, if you coaching Zach Wilson right now, give me what you got to tell him. Give me hope.
You should offer to meet with him, Fitz. Come on, man. Tell us what you tell him if you had the opportunity. We'd love to hear about it.
Yeah. Look, I feel bad for Saleh because he's stuck. Like he obviously that is their option, right? So he has to continually support him in the media. They have a championship caliber defense, like as we all know, and as we see every single week. I think at this point, one of the things that I watch him play, and people may disagree with me, but I think he's become too safe. I think that he's been beaten down so much with his performance, with turning the ball over, with all those things, that it's such a careful offense now. There are glimpses in games where you see that special ability. That being said, it's like some of the layups he makes more complicated than they need to be. And I just think it's almost too careful at this point because it's hard to play quarterback when you go into a game and you say, okay, well, let's not screw this up. We've got a good defense. We've got good special teams. As long as we don't screw it up, we got a chance. And look, they've had a chance in the last few games. They just haven't scored any touchdowns. So at some point, you also got to be aggressive on offense.
I agree, man. I mean, you look at it like even I joked with you guys a couple weeks ago when they were playing the Giants. It's like the nose guard destroys the center and he has to leave the pocket and start running. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh wow, when you see him out on the run, and it's like there's no like, all right, I got to think through everything. He's able to like run on he's on the run, throwing across his body, and throws in a hell of a football. He did it last night. I mean, the other night, just same thing. It almost seems like sometimes when you take him out of like just sitting in the pocket, being careful, and just get him like moving around, he all of a sudden starts to throw the football and throw it aggressively. You see some of that athleticism. And to me, it's like, how do you get this guy to just, hey man, just go just go wing it for one game. Like, don't even worry about any of this stuff. Because man, it's got to be tough on that locker room right now.
But it looks like he has to be under duress. When you get in those positions where it's reactive playing, like he doesn't get to think. He doesn't have time to process. It's no thinking. It's like, hey, this is where I'm going. My body says go there. I'm going there. And I think they got to find ways to get him in more of those situations, whether it's rolling him outside of the pocket or it's kind of simulated scrambles, because that's what Aaron used to do really well. Like, I don't know what he used to tell his tackles, but he'd be in the pocket for like a half a second, and then next thing you know, he just slowly drifting left. And you're like, wait, what are y'all doing? Is this how y'all drew the play? And he'd slowly drift left, and then all of his receivers would slowly drift with him, and he'd find somebody wide open every single time. But in this game, they got to deal with Tyreek Hill and Tua Tagovailoa and Raheem Mostert and this high-flying offense. What do you think they can do with this defense? Because they just look so dejected sometimes. Even after they get big stops and big turnovers, they just look like, man, we know there's no hope.
But it's like the last few times, and one of the other hard things is this is all playing out in prime time because everybody expected Aaron to be playing. They got so many primetime games, but now every game you see the graphic, what they did to Mahomes, what they did to Josh Allen, like what they're doing to these elite quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts had 3 picks, which, a guy that takes care of the ball and doesn't turn it over. I mean, this is an elite defense, and they're playing at such a high level. I obviously think they're taking a lot of pride in, if the offense is going to struggle, we have to go out and win this game. Yeah. But it's time and time again. I mean, Justin Herbert had, held to 130 yards or whatever it was. It's amazing to watch these guys continuously do it week in and week out.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing of them losing this game, this past week is that, you look at their schedule going forward and going into our game for Black Friday. I mean, this defense can really be put in a position where our season is starting to fall apart. And it's like, man, you guys know, we all know what that does to our locker room, man. It's tough. When you feel like there's one side of the football field, one side of the team that's really dominating and not the reason we're losing, and then the other side is the reason. It makes the culture and atmospheres, we use that word all the time. The best thing for a culture is called winning. Everybody has a really good culture when they win. And when you don't, it gets tough, man. And so I think that's going to be the biggest thing. They've got to find a way to get some offensive production and at least have just a game where, win or lose, they play well offensively. And I think they need it badly.
Time for another week of the VLTED Challenge. We're excited to be using the VLTED app, spelled VLTED. VLTED is a place where you can store your sports predictions and participate in cash prizes without the entry fee. Download the app and join the Richard Sherman Thanksgiving pool for a chance to win $2,500 in cash prizes. Again, it's totally free to join the pool. All you have to do is answer the questions and risk confidence points on each prediction for a chance to beat me and walk away with some serious cash. Congratulations to Mitchell Core, who won our last pool. Same stakes this week. First place takes home $2,000. So make sure to join my Thanksgiving pool. And remember, VLTED offers free pools with cash prizes every single day. Last time, Mitchell won both of our challenges and finished 13 units up. Starting to think this is fixed somehow. After 2 challenges, I'm down 22 units. Good night on the season. The first 1 to 50 wins our VLTED challenge. Mitchell, what's your first
I got
pick?
a shout out to my namesake, Mitchell Core. First off, I mean, Richard, you're getting smacked around by a handful of different Mitchells in this VLTED challenge right now. So Mitchell Core, congratulations. You know, Richard, I am going to go, we're talking Thanksgiving here. I'm going to go with the Sun God, Amon-Ra St. Brown. He will have more than 7.5 catches against the Green Bay Packers. Mark it down, Rich. He's going for 8+ catches, and I'm going to put 7 units here. Richard, why do you accept my VLTED challenge?
I accepted Mitchell because they're not going to give it to him that many times. Mitchell, you're going to get ahead and stay ahead, and they're going to sit him on the bench, and he's going to rest out the day. Sam Laporta is going to have a good game. Jamison Williams is going to have a breakout on Thanksgiving with all the speed in the world. So they're not giving it to Amon-Ra.
Yeah, you make some good points, but unfortunately for you, you're going to be taking another loss on that standpoint. Richard, here's another loss for you. My second prediction is the Dallas Cowboys. They're going to cover 9.5 points against the Commanders on Thanksgiving. And Richard, when you get into the 2-score games, my confidence isn't super high. Truthfully, I hope the Cowboys lose, but I still think they're going to cover. And I'm going to risk 5 points here. That is 5 units. Richard, why do you accept my VLTED challenge?
Mitchell, because it's Thanksgiving. The Cowboys are full, Mitchell. They're full and they're happy. And the Commanders are coming off a tough loss to the Giants where they just got embarrassed. So they're going to have some pride, just enough for them to cover the spread. And the Vegas pundits and all the conspiracy theorists are going to be upset. But it is what it is.
Richard, I feel bad for you. So I'm gonna give you an easier one. I'm gonna do.
Mitchell, I'll take it easy. I'll take a layup.
I'll give you a layup here, Richard. I'm taking Christian McCaffrey to not score against the Seattle Seahawks. I know the guy has scored in 17 of the last 18 games, but I am confident here. I'm gonna go no score of Christian McCaffrey, 6 units. Richard, I know this is going to be an easy one for you to accept, but why do you accept my VLTED challenge?
Yeah, Mitchell, this is a layup. I'll take it. Did you say something? Yes, Mitchell. Yes, I will take this. Seems like you may want to. Is everything okay over there?
I'm doing just great, man.
Okay, all right. Well, yes, I will accept this one. Easiest 6 units that I've ever made in my VLTED career. I'm thankful. Should I give a speech? No speech today. But thank you for that, Mitchell.
You're more than welcome.
There are predictions for Thanksgiving. They are now locked into the VLTED app. If you want to prove you're smarter than your friends, go download the VLTED app and use the challenge feature. And make sure to enter the Richard Sherman Thanksgiving pool. Not only do you have a chance to beat me, it is totally free to join, and first place wins $2,000. I will also send the pool winner a challenge of my own. Remember, VLTED is spelled VLTED, and the QR code is right there on the screen. And they got so much talent on that defense. I mean, you talk about the season Quincy Williams is having. Quinnen Williams is obviously a highly paid guy. Bryce Huff getting pressure on the quarterback. Jermaine Johnson coming to his own. Then you got C.J. Mosley, who's been elite for a while. We always, Sauce and Reed get all the credit they deserve. But it's going to be a star-studded affair when Miami's offense is going against the Jets defense. And Sauce has had some success versus Tyreek, but I mean, this year Tyreek is just on another level and playing in another mode. Do you think this Jets defense will be able to have another elite performance against Tua Tagovailoa?
Well, I think the biggest thing with Miami's offense, and they've slowed down a little bit. Their running game has slowed down. A-Chain looks like he got brought off IR, so I don't know if he'll play this week or next week, but that'll be a big part of their running game going forward. And then I think the teams that have been successful against Miami, if you can get Tua off his first read, if you can get him to have to move around in the pocket a little bit, and the Jets have been so good at collapsing that pocket. So, everybody's so afraid of the speed of Tyreek and Waddle, but making sure that Tua is having to go through a progression and spend more than those 2.2 seconds or whatever it is with the time to throw with Tua. That's a big part when you play Miami. The problem with them is they can score on every single play. And there aren't a lot of offenses in the league right now where you're afraid, and it's not just one or two guys. There's four guys that can take it to the distance on every play. But it's like the AFC is so dang competitive right now.
Yep.
It's like, what's going to happen with some of those bottom spots? It's crazy.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think you eventually, a lot of these teams too, you look at it, are playing each other the next few weeks. So I think there's going to be some teams in the AFC right now that may be in it right now that are going to be out of it in a few weeks, because I think some of that's going to kind of all come down to these last few weeks because of really how competitive it is. Every week, I feel like any of those teams can win. You got a team from Pittsburgh standpoint who you have no idea how they have the record they have. And then you look at the Bills and Bengals and you're like, man, how are these two teams not in the playoffs? So I think that's going to be the crazy part. And for that game, Jets-Dolphins, I think it's going to be interesting to see how the Jets decide to play them defensively. You've seen the different philosophies every time somebody plays them, and it seems to have worked for a couple of these four-down line teams to keep these shells, not run with all the motions, and just try to take away that first read and see what happens and get there with pass rush. So it'll be interesting to see how they decide to play them.
And I do think, too, like for Miami, a warm weather team, like as it starts to get a little colder,
we know what happened
not
last
a physically bruised and run game. Like it'll be interesting to see how they adjust to that as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be great. This being the first ever NFL game taking place on Black Friday on Prime Video. How excited are you guys to be part of that inaugural kind of new NFL holiday?
I think it's insane. I mean, you think about it last year, guys, we got on the set. You're part of the first ever fully streamed package of football games, which is just crazy to do as we all step off the field. And then now to be a part of the first ever Black Friday game. I think it's going to be one of those films when we get there that week and everything is going on, you're going to feel it just because it's going to be that big of a game and the atmosphere and everything else around it. But I think it's really special, man, to come off the field and get to be a part of something like this. It's going to be cool because, I mean, I think for me, when I think of football season in November and December, I mean, Thanksgiving week, those games, sitting down at your house with your teammates, whatever else over, those are kind of the memories I have of like this part of the year of the football season. So to be a part of a new, unique game that's going to be on a Friday, guys are going to get home from their walkthrough or practice setting. They're going to be like, hey, man, let's go sit on the couch and watch this football game, and we're going to get to be a part of it. It's insane.
And I was kind of shocked that they hadn't figured this out yet, like that there wasn't a game on Black Friday, because I don't think there are any days left on the NFL calendar where they can put a game. But for us to be able to do that, obviously the synergies of like being in New York and Amazon and everything that happens on Black Friday is going to be cool. And then for me, I mean, it's a rivalry game for me, a couple former teams. I mean, who do I root for, Sherm? Whit and I are going to be sitting on top of the standings. You're going to be looking up at us. And we're gonna.
Wow.
So this may be a big one.
Taking shots on my podcast.
Wow!
I'm just
in
saying.
your house. He just stepped. He walked in your door.
You have 2 losses on the year, sure.
Yeah. If it wasn't for some big, you know what? The wheel lit. That was the right pick. They should have won that game.
Yeah. They didn't. They should have, but they didn't.
But coverage begins at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. The Dolphins are at the Jets. Oh, no. Coverage begins at 1:30 Eastern time. The game kicks off at 3 p.m. Eastern time, which means we'll have a bit of an earlier ending to the game. That'll be a different rhythm as well.
So Liza, my wife, was already, for the viewers, not for you guys, was already asking me, like, what do you guys do after the games? And it's like, well, we just go, we sit around, we enjoy, but it's always late. So it's like, are we going to have to plan something after this game because we're going to be done so early? I think we'll probably do the same type of thing. It'll just again find its way into the wee hours of the night, just hanging out and having fun.
It's going to be great. I mean, we're not going to, I'm not going to get to spend Thanksgiving with my family. It's going to be a different holiday for us. But for the fans at home, I mean, Amazon is still the same. Amazon is going to have deals for customers every quarter. So you got to tune in to see. Like, it's such a different way to do Black Friday, because when I was younger, Black Friday, you used to stand in line. People are camped outside. Nowadays, you don't got to. Right. You got to be the first one to get the deals. Now you just got to be watching the Black Friday game on Prime Video to get these deals. Each quarter, they're going to have different deals. It's the perfect fit for Amazon, really, because how many people holiday shop on Amazon? It's like they're bringing everything one-stop shop. Come to Prime Video. You can do your shopping. You can catch the game. You can do anything, really. I mean, what are we doing?
That'd be great. Well, you guys are invited to the Harvard Club with me for Thanksgiving dinner with the Fitzpatricks. Yeah, if you want to come.
Sherman and I are going to be all by ourselves. We're going to need somewhere to hang out for Thanksgiving. We appreciate that invite.
And Sherman, you've already tried the dress code there, so I think you can just show up in sweats and hoodie.
I think they really, really kind of turned a blind eye to me that day, and I don't know if they're doing it again, because these millennials that they're talking about, these new generation, they're already talking about taking the elephant off the wall, and this is Roosevelt's. This is Roosevelt's elephant now.
Yeah, Fitz, you might want to check your email. You might have gotten a letter about that appearance. So
can you cut this out of the podcast? This is going to be tough. Yeah, just no ripped jeans, please, Whit. That's the only thing we can't do it.
All right.
Well, so give me your prediction for the outcome of this game. I'll take it right now. So I can give me your prediction. No, you got to answer the question on my podcast.
I will say, like, a team that I played for will win. I'll say that.
Wow. Wow. No, I think it's going to be a great game, Sherman. That's all I'll tell you. I'll send spoon text to who I think is going to win, but I can't give you any information. We can't allow you back in the standings.
You guys are playing it so close to the vest. Okay, football season is finally here. And here's one thing every fan should know. You can get anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. Well, almost anything. Because no, you can't get your dream running back for your fantasy team delivered with Uber Eats. But flapjacks, baby back ribs, and a cold six-pack? Yeah, you can definitely get those. Great pass protection? That's a no. Great pizza selection from your favorite places? Yes. Championship defense? No. Deodorant? Yep. A well-executed fake punt? No. Delicious fresh produce? Yes. Game-clinching turnovers? No. But pastry turnovers? The kind with delicious apple filling? Oh, yeah. Because that's groceries. And get those delivered with Uber Eats, too, along with food from your favorite restaurants and other essentials. And the best part? You can get it all without missing a second of action on your TV. So this football season, stay planted on your couch and get anything, well, almost anything you need for game day by ordering on the Uber Eats app. Uber Eats, the official on-demand delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Alcohol in selected markets. Product availability may vary by region. See app for details. It's been great having you guys on. It's been great being your teammates. What would you tell these fans out there is the worst part about your new job?
Well, we got to hear Fitz's last year. He didn't realize that we traveled every week. I thought that was astounding information for him to share with us.
Whit and Chris's favorite. But look, like, as players, you travel like every other week, right? So getting on that airplane every week, it's a little bit different. But now I get to fly and see your smiling faces, so it makes me happy.
No, I really don't. I don't know if I've found the worst part yet. I enjoy it all, man. I really do. Right now, it's a lot of fun. I'm sure there's something that will get tiring over the years, but for now, man, it seems like a lot of fun, and I love doing it.
I can't. Part.
Yeah, I was about to say I got a worst part.
Going out the 2 minute. Oh no, go ahead.
No, it's when we're on the East Coast and we come back to the hotel. And there's people that have been standing out there with the helmets and the pylons and the football cards. And we've already signed 8 things for you. Like, do you need that 9th thing signed? You've been waiting here for 5 hours.
And you got to give them credit for being out there, because it's
cold. You have to. Yeah, they're grinding. But they always know where we're staying. Yeah, you give them credit. You give them credit.
If it wasn't cold and they weren't out there for hours or something, I'd probably just go to my room because I don't like people staying waiting for me at the hotel that I have to be at. But, these people, they're nice, about it. They ask nicely. You got to give them credit for that. But there is something about, this is the background, the nuances of the media world, an analyst role is sometimes we don't have a green room.
Ooh,
and those are the
RV.
times. Those are the times. I'm
real comfortable. Get real comfortable real fast.
You know what I thought you were going to say, Sherm? I thought you were going to say when we try new things like this last week when me and Whit and Kels weren't on the desk, so you didn't have your partner in crime, Whit, right next to you, and you had to talk on the desk without us.
They're trying to mess with us this year.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm butt naked in the middle of Antarctica when that happens, but it is what it is. I'm trying to adjust. When you get put in uncomfortable situations and that's where growth happens. But I don't know if I'm growing from this. I'm just being put in uncomfortable situations.
That's what I still am trying to. In Miami, Brian Flores had a sign that said, "Get comfortable being uncomfortable." And to this day, like I can't get my 14-year-old to understand what that means. And I try to always put him in uncomfortable situations, but it still is like it doesn't make sense to him.
Well, my last question for you guys, and this is a big one.
Speaking of signs,
yes.
I just want you guys to know I saw that behind you, Ryan, and I know Sherm has one too. But
yes, I do.
I just got mine. There you go.
That makes us happy, man. That makes us
really happy. Feel connected. Is CJ Stroud the MVP of the league right now?
Oh my God.
The future's looking bright, but everybody's having a debate because so many quarterbacks are playing so inconsistent. Like, is he a top 10 quarterback? Is he top 5 now, Fitz? I need your opinion.
Oh boy, we're getting into the Brock Purdy thing here now. Here we go.
Yes, we are. Top 5, because then you're like, okay, well, if he's in your top 5, who's not in your top 5? But I mean, I think the biggest thing with these quarterbacks is you want to see a larger sample size, and the sample size for CJ Stroud is now large enough. So we can say, look, this dude's a top 10 quarterback in the league right now. There's some other things that need to happen, with playoffs and stuff, I think, before we anoint him and put him in the top 5. But it just, every week you're like, okay, is this the week that it falls off? Is this the week that it craters? And it's not just like the statistics and the crazy numbers he's putting up. When you watch him and the poise that he plays with, and now like these end of the game, got to have it situations. 2 weeks ago when they gave him the ball with 48 seconds left and he needed a touchdown and he went and he did it and he made it look easy. I mean, that's when you've got a whole team and a whole city now believing in you every time you touch the ball at the end of the game, like you've catapulted yourself in the top 10 status.
No question.
No doubt.
No question. He's first in the league in yards per game. He's second in total yards, passing yards a game, only behind Sam Howell. I mean, it's a lot of things that you like to hear and like to see because these are kind of Aaron Rodgers. Now, Aaron's completion percentage numbers would be higher because he's hovering around 61, 62%. He's a young kid, so you got to give him a little bit of grace with that. But at the end of the day, he's executing at a real high level. And guess what his name is? Guess what his real name is? I need guesses.
Charles Johnson.
Okay. No, but I like it.
Curtis Joseph.
Yeah, Curtis Joseph. Clayton John. I mean, I don't know.
Coleridge Bernard, CJ Stroud the fourth.
Oh, that is a good name. I thought
it's a very Harvard name.
Yeah, that's great. I think I had a teammate named Coleridge. Yeah.
I bet you did. Well, awesome. I appreciate you guys joining me today. I know you guys got more things to do today. And I'll see you guys in a couple of days. It's been a blessing, and I need to have you guys on here more often.
Thanks, Sherman.
Thanks, Sherman, brother. Appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all.